Hello, good evening, students. Good evening, one and all. Uh, Apologies for being delayed due to some technical issues. Anyways, let's begin a new week, new energy, new topics, but the same technology. Hoping you all are fine. I would be glad if somebody acknowledges me in the text box here, chat box. I'm audible and visible both to you. My screen is visible as well, right? If it would be little quick, we can start the work. Parth says good evening. Good evening, Parth. Okay, nice ma'am. You're audible, visible, even your screen. Fine. Thank you so much. Thumbs up for that. Okay. A very quick recap of what we have learned in the lecture last time. We went into the depth of operators. The other categories of operators that we explored were the logical operator. Then comes your comparison operator, assignment operators, membership operators, and identity operators. All right. Fine. Today we will take a step ahead to understand conditional statements in Python. Now, in my actual words, when you start learning conditional statements and loop, this is where you actually start learning the programming language. You understand? So, this is one of the foundation stone, you can call it as, that is the decision statement or conditional statement. Let's see what they are exactly. Okay, here we go on again. Fine. Python, like many other programming languages, does support conditional statements. Now, when it comes to conditional statements, that means we are talking about, let me write it here, please. Okay, we are talking about if and else. Okay, we're talking about if, else. All right. Conditional statements in Python, as other programming languages, are also called as decision making. Okay, branching or decision making statements. Hoping you understand, right? Both if and else deals with the trueness or falseness of a particular condition. Right? For example, if the temperature is cold outside, I won't turn on the AC, else I will turn on the AC. You got my point? Fine. So if the temperature is cold, that is the condition. And if this condition is true, based on it, we have to take an action. Alright. So always remember, decision making always talks about a certain or a particular condition. If conditions are true, you have to implement certain action in the code. Right? So if the temperature is not so cold, or maybe if it is warm or above some threshold, I will definitely turn on the AC or make the fan higher. Speed of the fan higher. Alright. Another example, if there is a strike of transportation tomorrow, I won't go to school or college, else I shall go. Right? Whether me going tomorrow to my school, to my college, or to my office depends upon the strike that is most likely to take place in my city the coming day. Right? So the strike going to take place is a condition. Reaction of this condition means based on this condition, what action we need to implement, what step we have to carry out, that becomes its action. All right. Fine. This is what is called as condition making statements or decision making statements in programming languages, if else. Okay, any ordinary project always contain 20 to 25% of the code as decision making or conditional statements. All right, I hope you're understanding. Any ordinary project, you talk about any ordinary app. Okay, it's a ticket booking app, right? Or it's a online cab booking app like Ola Uber, or it's like something live streaming app like Netflix or Hotstar, or any e-commerce app. You talk about Amazon, you talk about Walmart. Flipkart. Right? So any project or any application at a time contains its actual code contains 20 to 25 percentage of decision making statements. All right. So let's put this all theory into action and practically perform the decision making in Python. All right. Fine. Okay. Now to start with, in Python there is a concept called as indentation. I use this word first time today. Now let this concept of indentation absorb inside your blood so that you can drive Python very thoroughly or smoothly, I can say. All right. In order to understand indentation, you first have to understand the blocks. What are blocks in coding? Right? What are blocks in coding? Especially those of my friends who are coming here from non-IT background. Let me just do the face of it. All right. Those of my friends who are coming here from non-IT background, especially to them, try to understand what is a block-based code or what are blocks in coding. All right. Now, ideally, what happens? Any ordinary programming language, this is how they write. Say if, for example, this is 10, x is 10. I write here if x is equal to 10. Okay. If x is equal to 10, so, so you could see I have used a curly bracket here. Right? Now, when you use curly bracket, that indicates this is the if statement block. Okay. Now, block actually mean a sequence of code that we group into. Okay, a sequence of code or lines of code one by one. Sequence of code line by line that we group into becomes a block. Let me put this statement, please. Sequence of code line by line that is grouped is called as a block. Understood? For example, there are 100 stuffs to be printed here. Say after that, I want to print hello. I want to print hi. Okay. I want to print bye. Okay, I want to print hello, I want to print hi, I want to print bye. But I don't want to print everything if x is equal to 10. Understood? If x is equal to 10, the action to be taken is different. Are you understanding? Right? So these three statements are to be printed not on this condition to be true, but for some other reason. So if this condition is true, what exactly you want to do? You have to mark using this opening closing curly bracket, which becomes if statements block. You understand? So based on a condition, what needs to be done? We need to mark, we need to label, and these markers or these labels are called as nothing but the blocks. Other programming languages like C, C++, Java, they make use of curly braces to indicate the block. Right? So suppose I want to print enjoy. But enjoy should be printed only on this condition, and only enjoy should be printed. Is it right? Fine. So, and other than enjoy, if you wanted to print two more things, okay, say print. Okay, let me call it as print, case sensitivity apart. What should I write? Say ABC, and then print XYZ. So, these three lines now constitute if statements block. All right. Now, since hello is out of the block, hello won't be printed as a result of this condition being true. Of course, hello will be printed, not because the condition was true. If you wanted hello to be printed because this condition is true, you have to take hello to be printed inside the if block. Understood? Similarly, if you wanted to print high and by, only if this condition is true. So you have to take the print statements printing high and by inside the if block. Right? So block is basically a marker that indicates from where till where. Come on, I repeat, from where, kahan se kahan tak, from where till where actions are to be taken in case if a condition is true. Alright, fine. Now coming to the point exactly, since we are not dealing with C, Java or any other language, Python does not make use of curly braces to declare or mark the block. Okay, mark this point in bold, please. Okay, in fact, this is one of the other reason why what makes Python more readable. Understood? What does make Python more human readable, more easily understandable than other languages? Because Python doesn't make use of opening closing curly bracket as a block. Instead, Python makes use of something called as indentation. Okay, here we go. This is the word I used. I'm sorry for that. Indentation. Alright. Let me check the chat box. Is there any question here? Okay, fine. So instead, Python makes use of indentation to declare the block. Okay. What is an indentation basically? Indentations are nothing but the spaces at the beginning of the line. Alright, sometimes in English grammar also, grammatically we need to indent something. Okay, you indent something so that it comes in the center. For example, okay, say this title, look at this title, I indent it. So giving spaces in the beginning of the line is called as an indentation. The more you indent, the more line comes to the right side, correct? The more you indent, look, my text has now come to the center almost. Now if I try to indent, it is coming to the right hand side. And so on. Right. So this is called as indentation. It refers to the spaces at the beginning of the code or the line of code. That's what Python uses indentation to mark a block of the code. All right. This is the same thing what I said. It refers to add white space, means blank spaces before a statement, to include it in a particular block. All right. For example, if you look at this diagram, check it out. This is line 1, this is line 2, but before line 3 starts, I have given some spaces. Ideally, 4 spaces are given to indent a line, but even if you give one space, that is considered as indentation. Okay, line 4. Now, if you see the same number of space in the beginning of the line, okay, line 3 and line 4, in the beginning of these two lines, we have same amount of space. That means this much and this much. That indicates line 3 and line 4 belongs to same block. You understood? Similarly, line 5 and line 6 does not come under the block of line 3 and 4, nor do they come in the block of line 1 and 2. They come in a different block. And you see, this is the same amount of space in the beginning of the two lines. You check at line number 7, it is following the indentation of line 1 and 2. That means line 7 comes in the block of line 1 and line 2. Are you understanding? Hmm? Like this, see. If it is line 1, look at my arrow mark here. How does Python compiler reads it? Code block 1 begins, means the first block begins. If Darshan is here with us today, I hope you are understanding. Okay, since he makes a lot of mistakes in the lab. See, if this is line 1, right? So code block 1, that means this is the first block that begins. Line 2 is at the same level of indentation of line 1. So the compiler will under the assumption that the same block continues. Okay. Since line 3 is little indented, that means block 1 is not continued, but block 2 started. Line number 4 is at the same indentation level of line number 3. That means block number 2 is been continued. Line 5 is not at the same level of indentation of line 4. That means this is a new block started. Line 6 at the same level. That means block 3 continues. And the most interesting part of the story, since line number 7 is at the same indentation of line 1 and 2, so first block only continues. Is that clear? Okay, fine. I give you one small example. Look, before the session was about to start today, I kept this thing tight. Okay, since many of the students in the first attempt finds indentation a little tougher. Check out. So this is an indentation of one of the page of one book. Understood. Or let me say this is the index page of one of the book. And the index page says chapter number 1 is introduction. It's a very powerful example. The first topic under introduction is history, second topic is background, third topic is requirement. But a subtopic of requirement is requirement 1, requirement 2. Right. Now, if you see 1.4, it is properly indented below 1.3, correct? Right? Because if I write 1.4 here, check it out, guys, check it out. If I write 1.4 here, write it like this. First of all, it sounds wrong. You see, the word is not accepting also. Try to forcefully write it. So first of all, this sounds wrong because 1.4 will be considered as a subtopic of 1.3, correct? No, but 1.4 is not a subtopic of 1.3. In fact, it's a topic or subtopic of introduction, correct? So we need to properly indent it. So that it comes exactly under or below 1.3. Similarly, technical aspect, that's entirely new topic or the second chapter. But if I write it here, check it out. See, if I write it like this, say 2 point, that will be considered as a topic of, let me say, correct? That will be considered as a topic of introduction, which is not. So it has to be properly indented below 1. I hope you understand. So these are nothing but the indentation, the spaces that we are leaving before the starting of the line. Okay, these spaces which we are leaving before the line starts, that's called as an indentation. All right, fine. Now assume if the number is 10. Okay, or let me say this way, if temperature is colder than 10 degrees, I won't turn on, forget about the AC, even the fan. Okay, so I'm not going to turn on the fan. I'm going to print the message it is too cold. I'm going to print the message this is winter. Fine, so three things has to take place, right? Else I won't do all this. So how Python does it, try to understand how Python does that, right? Say x equals 10. Python is case sensitive. Here for a time being, I ignore capital and lower letters, okay, lowercase letters. But hoping you are keeping track of it. X is equals to 10. If x, or instead of x, let us call it as the variable name temperature. If temperature is greater than or equal to 10, colon. This is the first important point that we are learning and noting today. Python doesn't make use of, first of all, any opening closing curly bracket to declare this if block. It is going to start use indentation, that is the spacing in the beginning of the line. And to begin with indentation, we first have to give here colon. That indicates if block started. Okay, after the instruction, when you write colon, that means this block has started. Look, ideally we have never given the colon here because declaration of variable is never a block, correct? Fine. So when you give the colon, that means the block starts. It's like a flag, people. Okay, you have raised that red flag. Mind you, whatever you're going to write, that's going to be under the if block. All right. So look what I do. I don't continue writing here where my cursor is blinking like this print. This is winter and all. Okay. Instead, I indent the line a little. Say one, two, three, four. Some three, four spaces. Even one space would be enough. Okay. And I say action. This is my own created word. Nothing like such exists in Python. Okay. Action. Don't turn on fan. All right. Also, print. If you write print here, make sure the two indentation matches exactly. Say print, it is cold. Print another statement, this is winter. Writing this is winter's print statement here, instead of here, if you would have written over here, that would have declared if block over. Okay, you see the indentation, people, only these two lines are under the if block. Am I? Because they are at the same level of indentation, correct? And since this print statement of this is winter is out of the same levels of above two lines indentation, that means it has to be kept out of the if block. Hoping you understand. Correct? The same thing in CC++, how we could have achieved. Right? Or how in any other programming language we could have achieved. The same thing, let me copy and I paste it. There is no need of colon because opening curly bracket starts the block, and wherever you want to end the block, just close the bracket. And then it doesn't matter, you give spaces, you don't give spaces, you write this statement here, you write this statement here. Are you understanding? Or you write this statement somewhere here. So indentation doesn't make any sense here because you already have opening and the closing curly bracket. Understood? Right? The closing curly bracket has already marked the end of the block. So whatever you write inside is actually the content of the block. Is it right? Now, since Python doesn't make use of any such curly braces, indentation plays a major role. Right? So it does matter. Moral of the story. It took me exactly half an hour to deliver it to you. Moral of the story. It does matter a space before this print or a space after this print. If you write a space after this print, Python will show an error that will indirectly indicate this line belongs to the block of the line of code above. Because by indenting it, you started another block, correct? Am I right? See, by changing the indentation, you actually started another block. And the statement above is not a block declarable statement, correct or not? If the temperature is greater than 10, I think I should have written less than, correct? Instead of greater than, we should have written less than. If the temperature is less than 10, this is the action to be taken. The two things are to be printed. Else, else I'm going to print it's not very cold and this is not winter and I'm not going to turn on the fan. Or I'm going to turn on the fan. Right? Now tell me, where am I going wrong? Else. What's wrong exactly here? Where am I going wrong? Path. What will be the sequence of code? Sequence code will execute in the ordered sequence. Understood? I'll come to your point exactly once I run this code. Yes, indent it to the if statement. That means indent else alongside if. Correct? That means else over here is wrong, guys. Else should be taken inside if's indentation. Correct? The order of sequence or order of execution of the sequence will be line by line only, synchronous. Understood. Line number one, line number two, line number three, line number four, line number five. It has to be in order or by order. Right? Again, I can't write here action to be taken. Say turn on fan. Turn on fan. No, but since this action is to be taken, if else condition is true, because else condition is true, you have to take this action little indented under else block. Another important thing, if this condition is true, then do this. And if it is not true, so you don't have to write that last condition. Along with else, most of the time we never write the condition because it is understood. If it is not true, that means obviously it is false. For example, if it is evening outside, or let me say this way, if the time is more than 17 hours, or let us say 19, not 17, correct? 7 p.m. Okay, if it is 17 hours or 19 hours, that means it's night or evening, late evening or night started, dark outside. So obviously, I don't have to write it if it is less than 19. Either it is going to be greater than or equal to 19, and if it is not greater than or equal to 19, that means the only condition which remains is just less than 19. Okay, if the marks are greater than 40 out of 100, I have to print your pass. But if it is not greater than or equal to 40, so you don't have to write here explicitly if marks is less than 40, right? Because it is obviously understood if it is greater, if it is true, well, and if it is not true, that means the control is going to fall off into the else part. Right? So ideally, condition with else statement is not written. So turn on fan, print it is not cold. Similarly, print it is not winter. And suppose if I try to write here print program ended, program ended. So this line print program ended, you could see, is following the same indentation of if, else, as well as x equals to 10 or temp is equals to 10. All right. Fine. So order of execution of the code will be obviously line by line only. Temp equals 10, the first line of code to execute, and program ended, the last line of code to execute. Fine. Let's quickly put all this into action. I'm once again working here under collab. Okay. So let me take variable age, okay, as input from user. Okay. Say enter your age. Okay. If age is, it's absolutely fine in Python if you write condition in round bracket or without round brackets. Like even if I don't use round brackets to write the condition with if, that's also fine. Okay, we'll try both. Let's see. If age is greater than or equal to 18, first of all colon indicating the block starts. You see, collab automatically brought me on an indented line because it's a Python tool and it is obviously understood since it's a colon means the block starts and it has to be given a little indented so that you don't commit a mistake and start writing from the beginning of the line. This is how some tools help you. Okay. So let me say print you are eligible to vote. Okay. Else colon indicating else block starts. Print you are not eligible to vote. All right. Right. Let's check what happens. Okay. Okay, it's asking me to enter my age. Suppose I enter the age as say 34. Okay, you are eligible to vote. Once again, I run this program, but this time else I keep it indented here. Okay, so it shows me an error. Correct? It shows me an error. That's invalid syntax. The reason of the error stated here is okay, invalid syntax. Fine. At else part. Correct? It's not properly indented. Correct? It's not properly indented. So let me take it here, run it for the last time. Enter your age, say 14. 14. Okay, you are not eligible to vote. Correct. Fine. Likewise, if I want to check, okay, say I want to check. Uh, After accepting a number from the user, I want to check whether it is divisible by 2 or not. Because if a number is divisible by 2, that indicates it's an even number. Otherwise, it's an odd number. For example, 7 is not divisible by 2. No, don't tell me 3.5, guys. 3.5 is not divisibility as per its test. Okay? Divisibility, the test of divisibility says the two numbers are divisible by each other only after division, remainder remains a 0. Right? So if you divide 7 by 2, the remainder is not 0, it is still 1. Right? So this is the logic you have to implement here, like NO for number, enter a number, enter a number. And now check. Suppose you want to print the number first. Say print, the number is NO. Since NO is a variable, we have to keep it outside the double quotes. Or else NO will be printed by name as it is. Correct? Rest. Next. If NO is, or let me say after dividing NO by 2, if we get the answer 0, that's what's modulus return. Correct? If you use the arithmetic operator modulus, it returns a remainder. So if I divide NO by 2 and the remainder is 0, so let me print. I think I by mistake it's clicked on the run button. So let me print. Yes, the number is even. Right? Else print the number is odd. Right. So either the number is even or the number is odd. That's the test of divisibility for any number. So enter 7. Sorry, the number is 7 and it is odd. Once again, let us run this time by number 80. And it is even. Even if I would have written 80, 800, or 80,000 or 80 million, after dividing by 2, it's going to give me remainder 0. Like 2, you could have used any number to check the test of divisibility. Say, what if the number is divisible by 7? So let me run this code. Say 45. Okay, I think I should have changed the message. Okay, the number is divisible, divisible, and the number is not divisible. So let me write here as 70. Yes, the number is divisible by 7. Otherwise, it is not divisible by 7. Okay, what if it is 71? It's not. All right. Would be glad if someone could acknowledge in the chat box. Yes, mod should be 0. Correct. Guys, please update your status in the chat box, guys. Are you able to understand? Thank you so much for that. Okay, fine. Then let's raise our standard a level higher. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Let's raise our standard thoda sa upar, a level higher. Okay, I've kept some programs as a question to be solved today written here. Okay, let's take this one. This one. Write a program to display high if the entered number is a multiple of 10, otherwise print by. Check the third listed program or the third numbered program which I've kept written. High should be printed if a number is a multiple of 10, otherwise by should be printed. How can I do that? I'm coding, you just keep checking whether it is right or not. So this line is going to remain same. Enter a number. Print the number if you want. If the number mod 10, because modulus always returns the remainder, and the returned remainder we are checking with 0, correct? The remainder returned we are checking whether it is 0, equal to equal. It's a comparison operator. Alright. So if it is equal to 0 after dividing by 10, I just have to change this message to high. And if the number is not divisible by 0, say after dividing by 10 the remainder is not 0, that means it is not divisible by 10, and I should print here by. Okay, fine. So let me write here as 50. Okay, it prints high. And if I write here as 56, it prints by. Correct. Fine. Take another example. Take this one. Come on. Write a program to check. This is a little classic, people. Okay, a little classic one. Write a program to check last digit of a number. People, the fourth program written here. Last program on this slide. Program to check last digit of a number is divisible by 3 or not. Not the entire number, just the last digit of the number. I've kept one hint written there. The last digit of any number can be obtained by dividing the number with 10. Okay. How? For example, if the number is 478. So when you divide 478 by 10, okay, tell me what will be the remainder? 4, 7. That will be the quotient, because 10 into 47 will be 470 and 8 will be the remainder, correct? 478 को 10 से divide करने पर remainder will be 8. अरे but 8 is the last digit of the number, right or not? Okay. Let's take the number is 1 2 3 3. If I divide 1 2 3 3 by 10, right, 123 will be the quotient, because 10 into rough work, guys, this is our rough work. 10 into 120, that will be equal to 1200. Hoping you understanding. Is it right? 120, or let me see how much. Yes, that's 120. And how much remains? 120. Okay. So we are going over here this way. Right? So 123, let me write here, not 120. So this will be 1230, correct? Well, how much remains, but how much remains? That means 3 remain. So this answer will be 3 here. So moral of the story, 3 is the last digit of that number. So any number, doesn't matter how big it is, even if it is a 10-digit number. But if you divide it by 10 and take the mod, remainder, the last digit is going to be or remainder is going to be the last digit. So help me Write the code there. Let me print, take that first line common, enter the number. Let me take another variable, say digit is equal to no mod 10. That means after dividing number by 10, the remainder we are storing it in digit, correct? And that remainder is going to be the last digit. Now go ahead to check if digit divisible by 3 is equal to 0, because that's what the question has asked you, correct? To check the last digit if it is divisible by 3 or not. So print the message. Yes, it's divisible by 3. Divisible by 3. Else print the message not divisible by 3. Let's run the program and check. Okay, so I enter the number as 129. First 129 will be divided by 10. 9 will be the remainder. But 9 on dividing by 3 is divisible. So answer should be it is divisible by 3. Only the last digit is divisible by 3 or not we have to check, correct? Okay, divisible. And the possibility of the last digit to be divisible is either 3, 6 or 9. Because after 9, the next number divisible by 3 is 12, but 12 is a two-digit number. Is it right? And if they ask you to check last two digits are divisible or not. So instead of 10, we will be dividing by 100, correct? Alright. Instead of 10, we will divide the number by 100. Remainder will be the last two digits. I hope you are understanding. Someone please acknowledge in the chat box here. Good evening, Krishna. Good evening. What about others? What about Parth? What about others who are attending here, understanding? Acknowledge, guys. It helps me to realize yes or no. Understood. Thank you. All right. Fine. Okay. Like if else, we have another decision making statement in Python that's called as if else ladder. Nested ifs or if else ladder. Actually, we are talking about if else ladder here. Nested if shortly we will deal with. Okay, most probably while writing the code of loops. Okay, if else ladder written as L if in Python, that is basically if statements with multiple condition. Okay, if statements with multiple condition. For example, if the temperature is less than 10, I will switch off the fan. But if it is between 10 to 15, I will keep the fan at a low speed. If it is between 15 to 20, I will keep a fan at a medium speed. But if a temperature is more than 20, I will keep a fan at a higher speed. Right? So basically, we are checking for four conditions here, guys, right? Condition number one, temperature less than 10. Condition number two, temperature greater than 10 but less than 15. Okay, let me take less than or equal to here. Because if we take less than 10 and greater than 10, then 10 won't come into either of the two conditions, correct? Less than 10 means what? It will stop at 9. Greater than 10 means what? It will start from 11. So 10 would be considered in either of the condition. Right? So greater than 10 but less than or equal to 15, that's the second condition to be checked. And temperature greater than 15 but less than 20. This is the third condition. and temperature higher than 20. That is the last condition. Right? So, but if you use if else, maximum that you will be able to do is you can check just two conditions. Is that correct? If else will help you maximum to do the decision making between two conditions. But if there are more than two conditions, you have to use if else ladder. That's called as else if, else if, else if, else if. All right, we'll see how to code it right now. Let's see how. Okay, so coming back here. Thank you. Okay, Suraj has also answered us. Thank you so much. Fine. Check it out. This is my collab. What I have here. Say temperature is equals to int. Let me consider temperature as an integer. You want, you can take it as float also. Say input, enter the temperature in degrees. Because one might assume the temperatures in Fahrenheit as well. Okay. If, first condition, if temperature is less than or equal to 10. For those of my friends who joined late, I repeat, with if condition can be written with or without round bracket. That's okay by Python. Even if you don't put the condition inside the round braces, that's okay. So if temperature is less than 10 or less than equal to 10, colon, the block starts, print, print. Fan is off. Okay. Now not else, people. We can't write else because if you write else, that is the last condition to check. Right? But in between the first and the last condition, there are multiple other conditions. So we write L if. That's a short way of saying or writing else if. Okay, how we speak at home. या तो ये नहीं तो वो भी नहीं तो वो वैसा भी नहीं तो ऐसा. Understood? So we give different options, right? Else if. Else if. You have to write condition for else if. If temperature is greater than 10, friends, logical operator and. You understanding where it is implied? Why did we use and? Why didn't we use or? Because we want both the conditions to be true, right? For temperature to be in between 10 to 15, it should be greater than 10 and less than 15. That's the reason we are using and here, not or. या तो 10 से बड़ा या तो 15 से छोटा. नहीं, ऐसा नहीं. 10 से बड़ा तो फिर 100 भी है. अरे बट 100 15 से छोटा थोड़ी है. Is that clear? Greater than 10 is 10,000 also. Try to understand. If you use or, 10,000 will be accepted. Right? So our restriction is what it should be greater than 10 but less than 50. Both the conditions should be true. So temperature less than equals to 50. In that case, what to do? Print fan works. Fan works at a low speed. Else if temperature greater than 15 and temperature less than or equal to 20, colon, indicating this else if's block starts. Print fan works at a medium speed. All right. Now, since it's the last condition, because if the above three are not true, whatever less left will be the last condition. So we end up writing simply else. Else print fan works at a higher speed. Okay. So if I could run this code, making sure the indentations all are right. So enter the temperature in degrees. See, I enter the temperature as 36. Okay, so fan works at a higher speed because 36 is greater than 20. And since greater than 20 is not present in the first three criteria, it goes to the else block. Once again. This time I enter the temperature as 14. So it says me fan works at a low speed. Okay, because 14 comes in this range, greater than 10 and less than 15. Okay. Likewise, you can now take one program to practice. Enter the grand total of the student. Okay, say if consider grand total is out of 7 and 8. Okay, so if the marks are in between 600 to 700 or 650 to 700, we will say you have scored O grade. If the marks is more than 500 but less than or equal to 650, let me write it here. See this one. Okay, see, out of 700. Okay, marks. If marks is greater than 650, that means you have scored O grade. Marks is greater than 500 but less than 650. That means you have scored A grade. Okay. Marks are in between 400 to 500. So greater than 400 and marks are less than equal to 500. That means you have scored B grade. And if marks are less than 400, last one, that means you have scored C grade. So take this one question for practice. By tomorrow, keep it ready. Try from your side. Okay. You want please somebody, you can take the screenshot of these questions that I've kept it as a homework to be done by you. Okay, most probably I'll try to put it up in the description box. Most. Okay. Give an attempt to this one. See, this is a little high-end question. Student will not be allowed to sit an exam if his or her attendance is less than 75%. And how to calculate this percentage 75? Number one, we first take as input from the user number of lectures happened. Means teacher ने आपको कितने attendance में mark किया. Say total 10. 10 classes were held. Number of classes attended. So out of 10, I attended 7 lectures. Right? Then print the percentage of the classes attended. Right? How will you print 7 out of 10's percentage? 7 divided by 10 into 100. Is it right? X upon Y. So 7 divided by 10, that will be 0.7. Into 100 will make it 70. That means 70% is my total attendance, correct? You try. If you can't, then when the lecture begins tomorrow, knock me. I will show you the code or I'll help you to write the code. Right? So percentage of the class attended is 70. Now you are going to write the if condition. If percentage is greater than 75, only then you will be giving a message you're allowed to send. And if the calculated percentage is less than 75, then print the message you are not allowed to send. Okay, will you be able to do it? Come on, try. Okay, take the pic of it, the screenshot of it. So this will be the second question you'll be taking as an assignment. And this will be the last one, the second one which I've listed here. A shop will give discount of 10% if the cost of purchase quantity is more than 1000. Are you understanding? Right? So if I go to the shop and I want to purchase a pen, and the shopkeeper says if you purchase more than 1000 pen, we will give you total 10% of the discount. Right? So suppose if one quantity will cost rupees 100, what will be the total cost you have to print? All right, what will be the total cost you have to print? Say for example, let me use the word qty. Quantity is equals to input, enter the total number of products to purchase. So if quantity is more than say 1000, if quantity is greater than 1000. So let me say the final amount to pay will be, say, one product cost rupees 100, alright, and he has purchased how much quantity, correct? So qty into 1000, am I right? Oh, sorry, not 1000 but 100. If the price of one product is 100 and I purchased 2000 products, so the final amount I have to pay you is 2000 into 100, correct? That will be the amount. But how will I say final amount will be equal to, because the quantity is more than 1000 people, I have to give you 10% discount on the final amount, correct? So let me say, or let me write like this: discount is equals to discount is equals to, say, amount into 10 divided by 100. Okay, and is equals to final amount is equals to amount minus discount. All right, fine. For those who have got a little confused here, say the price of one pen is rupees 10, okay, and the shopkeeper says if you purchase more than 50 pens, I will give you 10% discount on the final bill. Okay, so price of one pen is rupees 5 and I purchase 10 pens, so how much will be the amount? 50. But I will not get any discount on that because I didn't purchase more than 50 pens, right? एक पेन का प्राइस 5 रुपया है, आप 20 पेन खरीदते हो तो टोटल बिल कितना होगा? 100 रुपीज. आई विल स्टिल नॉट गेट एनी डिस्काउंट. वन पेन प्राइस इज रुपीज 5 और आप टोटल 50 पेन खरीदते हो, so what will be the final amount? 250 rupees. Because I purchased the total number of pen more than or equal to 50, now I will get 10% discount on 250. Got it? So first of all, you have to calculate how much is 10% of 250. That's what I calculated and kept in discount, right or not? Right? So amounts 10% will be amount into 10 divided by 100. That will be discount. And the final payable bill would be the gross amount minus discount. Correct? And now when you come out of the print statement, you please write here the discount is, say, discount, print, final amount is final amount, and say print, or ठीक है, let me not say that, let us just write till here. Say, okay, say I purchased total 2000 quantity of products. Okay, so 2000 into 100, 1 2 3 4 5, that will amount to 2 lakh. Remember, 2000 into 100, yes, 2 lakh. Okay, correct. 10% of 2 lakh is 20,000, and from 2 lakh, if I minus 20,000, because I got 20,000 as discount, so the final amount I have to pay is 1 lakh 80,000. Guys, are you understanding? Somebody, if you can please write in the chat box. Thank you, Suraj. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Parth. Fine. What about this percentage wala? Is that clear? Hi, guys. Thank you. Okay, fine. Only Parth. What about others? So this is that question, guys. I think this one I already did it. So you are taking two of them as practice question. First one was that grade one, O grade, A grade, B grade, and the second one will be attendance system, wherein you're taking this two input from the user, number of lectures held and number of classes attended out of it. Percentage will be calculated, and if condition will be executed. All right. A very quick summary of what we learned today, guys. What we learned today. Fine. I think we went towards, first of all, we started with indentation. Okay? Indentations are nothing but spaces which are given in the beginning of the line. Each line of code in Python needs to be indented so that they come under a particular block. The lines at same level of indentation falls under the same block. Correct? Python uses indentation instead of curly braces to declare the block. Then we started with if condition statement in Python, if else. Later we moved on after practicing some programs on if else. We moved on towards if else ladder using else. All right, fine. Anyways, that's all from our side today. Okay, Neha, thank you. Fine. If you find the video to be or the lecture entire session to be beneficial to you, advantageous, then please don't forget to like it. That will definitely keep us motivated. Tomorrow and day after tomorrow, the two sessions we are going to spend for loops, people. For loop, while loop, and any other loops that are available, and then nested ifs. Okay, so those are important sessions. Make sure that you try to attend them live along with me here, and try to attend them with your Python install. Okay, because when it comes to loop, it is an actual logic building part. Okay, once the loops are done, then we will go to dictionary set, which are the data structures of Python. Most probably next week onwards, we will start object oriented programming in Python. All right, fine. Anyway, see you back tomorrow at 6 p.m. Till then, stay connected and goodbye. Take care. Good night.